But Barstool Big Cat joining us on the CarX Tire and Auto Hotline. Is that what happened? What happened with that theme song?
I can't talk about it, but you might have been right.
It's a legal issue.
Yeah.
Can't talk about it.
That's what happens.
Can't talk about it.
It's under investigation.
When you get so popular, that's what happens.
Yeah, they're coming after you.
Something like that. Listen, I can't talk about it. I've said too much.
The man can't talk about it is what he's saying.
It's
no habla inglés, okay?
Hey, in the legal terms, let's say nolo contendere. No
Yeah,
contest.
that's
No
it.
contest right now. We can't talk about it.
Yurko's been looking forward to this all day. He is so upset that you're not in studio.
They said the cat's coming on. I know he comes in studio all the time.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm too down. I'm too
as
sad.
am I.
Everything stinks.
As am I.
I'm beaten up as a man. I don't know if I can get off the mat anymore. I don't think I can do it anymore.
You got no choice.
I know I got no choice, but I got no fight left, Yerk. I got no fight left. I don't know. You guys, listen. I was having this conversation on our pod the other day. We do this for a job. Tell me your God's honest truth. On Sunday, would you have turned that game off at half?
Yeah, I would have walked out. I walked out on the 2009 Cincinnati Bengals Chicago Bears game. I went to see Cincinnati Cedric Benson game. I'll call it. He was playing for the Cincinnati Bengals.
You left.
It was like 34-3.
You were in person
at halftime. I was in person there. I was up in the end zone, high in the end zone. I walked down the stairs, and all the Bears fans going, "Yerk, you giving up already?" I said, "It's 21-0, guys."
You know who gave up?
Yeah.
You know who gave up? It was, I forget what game was it. Was it the Minnesota game when they came back at home? It was the Vikings game, and I always leave at the end of the third because I want to get home for the post-game stuff and beat the traffic and everything. But do you know who gave up as a fan as well? Who took the elevator down? Connor Bedard.
Oh.
Connor Bedard gave up.
Yeah, he's smart. He's sick of losing.
Yeah, he gave up then, too. Either that or he's a hockey guy and only thought it was 3 periods.
Yeah, early dinner reservation.
Listen, I don't think that makes you a bad fan because the team has given up. Like, I thought on Sunday we would get – we talked about it last week. Waddle has said it a million times. Yurko, you probably had the same take as a player. Like, when a coach gets fired – that's just as much on the players as it is on the coach.
Yes.
And you got to look in the mirror and say, hey, we're the part of the problem here. We're part of the guys that got a coach fired. Let's go out and prove that we're not the problem and we're the solution. And I thought they were going to come out with their hair on fire on Sunday.
I did too.
And it was the exact opposite. And I'm just so, like, it doesn't even hurt anymore. It's just I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted from this Bears season. It's taken all the joy out of it for me. I'm going to watch every game. Of course I'm going to watch every game, but I just can't. I just want it to be over. If they could just hit it and be like, hey, season over, we're not playing the last 4 games, I'd love it. Wake me up when the draft comes. We'll get a new head coach. I'll probably not be the one we want. I don't even know what's going on with the pace stuff. Like, just quit if you don't like the job, dude. So I don't know. It's just a mess.
Okay, so there was a lot there on what you just said. Give me then, because you were talking about polls, you were talking about your coaching guys, and then about watching the last 4 games. Give me as of today, because I wrote out mine. Give me your power rankings today, and they could change by the end of the season. What are your power rankings for the guys that you want as coach, starting at the top?
Okay. Number 1, Mike Vrabel. Number 2, Ben Johnson. Anything else, and it's the same old Bears.
We're very similar. I had Vrabel as 1, and I had Ben Johnson. Instead of calling him 2, I called him 1 and 1A. I said
that works for me.
I will not be upset if it's one of either of those 2.
I'll be thrilled if it's one of either of those 2. Anyone else, and I'm going to be looking at it side-eyed and being like, nothing has changed, and they're the same Bears, and this is going to be another disaster 3 years from now.
Do you have a favorite, Yerk?
I want Vrabel. I've wanted him from the get-go, but Ben Johnson is perfect. But why would Ben Johnson come to the NFC North?
Caleb,
I would go someplace else and find a division that's easier to win with something that's in place. Why would I come here?
But
it's going to be 15 wins or 14 wins. to win the division.
Okay, then let me reverse that on you.
Reverse
if
it.
Ben Johnson is looking, I'm flipping it on you. If Ben Johnson is saying I want to go somewhere where it's easier to win, I don't want Ben Johnson.
Okay,
he's not a man.
Okay.
I want a guy who's ready to step up to the challenge.
All right, you want him to take up the challenge. I don't blame somebody from being intelligent, but Mike Vrabel is stubborn enough to come in here and think he can get it done, and that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think any other option, and I don't even know what the other options are, but I'm sure I'm gonna have to get used to them because that's who we're gonna be choosing from. Any other option is gonna be the same Bears. It's gonna be not the pick of the litter. It's gonna be
Joe Brady
guy who probably hasn't coached.
Are you into what would your buddy Josh Allen say about Joe Brady's readiness?
I mean, I like Joe Brady. Obviously, what he did at LSU was incredible. What he's doing with Josh is incredible. But it's
young.
just. It feels like another situation where we're going to be looking for a coach in 3 or 4 years because Ben Johnson seems like one of the smartest guys in the NFL right now. Mike Vrabel has a personality that he is it's his way, and he's going to build the culture and he's going to build a program that no one can kind of go against. You put anyone else in this spot with this ownership, and it's just going to end up being in the same spot. You need a unique individual to overcome all of the defects of this ownership and power structure, and I don't think anyone outside Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel can do it. It sounds defeatist, and I know that I'm in a low place right now. And anyone who's been listening to me on my podcast or doing this show for the last 8 years knows I will bounce back. I always bounce back, but right now I'm in a low spot. But don't you guys agree that we have to be honest with ourselves? We are in a terrible situation in terms of ownership, power structure, all these things. And to get out of that, you're going to need someone to turn water into wine. And I don't know if anyone besides Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel can do it. And I don't even know if Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson can do it.
Right. So then you brought up polls. And that's been the big talking point of this week. And I know you like Ryan. I always liked Ryan. As of now, Big Cat, I'm out. He's got 1 year left on his. Yeah, he's got 1 year left on his deal. I can't justify giving him a contract extension. And I think Vrabel and Ben Johnson would want their own personnel guys. Like, what if Ben Johnson would bring Agnew with him from Detroit? Vrabel would want his own personnel guy. How do you feel about Ryan Poles right now?
Look, I like Ryan Poles a lot as a guy, and I think he's done a lot. I think what happened this past week is Matt Eberflus got fired, and as a fan base, we're like, all right, we need a new Matt Eberflus, and his name's Ryan Poles. And so I think some of the narrative has been wrong with only highlighting the bad things and not highlighting the good, because he has done a lot of good. But I agree with you. I think the problem here is, it feels like he doesn't want to be here. And if he doesn't want to be here, just quit or just end it. You know what I mean? The situation is the situation. We know that we're in a screwed up situation. Either you want to fix it and you're ready to go, or you're going to be I'm going to sit at a press conference with Kevin Warren and sit there and be like, it's not my fault. It's not me. So I'm in a dire straits right now. I need you need to either be stepping up to the plate or just get out of here. We can't have half in, half out anymore because we're against the wall and we got nothing going for us. So I agree with you. What I was saying earlier this week is I think Ryan Poles has done a lot of good. I think the problem is when you stack it all up and you go pros and cons, Matt Eberflus, keeping Matt Eberflus, hiring Shane Waldron, those three things are so egregious when you know you have Caleb Williams. So maybe the last two, because you kept Matt Eberflus and you hired Shane Waldron when you knew you had Caleb. Those are so egregious.
And the line,
when you
the
knew
offensive
you had
line.
and the offensive line. Those and keeping Chris Morgan. So that's the part where I think Ryan Poles has done a good job accumulating draft picks, accumulating talent. There's some, good things out there. Darnell Wright, Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, a lot of good things. But when it comes down to coaching and getting these guys better, he has missed. And that is very important, and that's what we're missing. And I'm so sick of being at a coaching disadvantage every single Sunday, because it's been that way since Lovey was here, where every Sunday we know that the other side is going to game plan and adjust better than we are, and I'm so sick and tired of it.
This is the most fired up I've ever heard you. Like
I'm usually just so find down. I don't know.
You usually find the humor in stuff. I have not heard.
Not funny.
This is sports radio.
It's not funny.
It's not. I'm so tired of losing. I'm a loser. Did you see my guy Jay Kuda, who does a great job?
Yes,
did you see that
great.
Stat? Did you guys?
Well,
did you guys
which one?
talk
There's
about
been
it?
a million. There's been so many.
All right. Here's the one that's insane. Okay. All right. So this is he tweeted this in the last 7 years. In the last 7 years, the amount of playoff wins a city has had. I'm just going to list a couple cities for you, and then I'm going to tell you Chicago's. Philadelphia's had 72 playoff wins. This is all sports combined.
Wait, and how long of a span again?
Last 7 years.
Okay. They've had 72?
72.
With all the sports.
Boston's had 133. Toronto has 3 teams. They've had 51. Phoenix had 38. Denver's had 94. The Bay Area's had 81. Atlanta has 3 teams. They've had 38. How many wins do you think we have as a city? We have 5 teams. How many playoff wins do we have in the last 7 years?
I'm trying to think the Bulls, what have they done for us?
They won 1 against the Bucks. That was it. And then, I'm trying to, in the last 7 years.
Blackhawks haven't done it.
The Cubs may have won a game, the series, if we're going back to, the Washington. If this goes back to 2017.
2020, they made the playoffs, too. I'm going to say 6.
They didn't win, though, in 2020.
6.
Yurko. The answer is 4.
Wow.
4.
4 playoff
the
games.
The White Sox have 2. The White Sox have the most.
Yeah.
The White Sox have 2. The Blackhawks have 1. The Bulls have 1.
Wow, it's not even a Cubs win. Yeah, see that.
Cubs 0, Bears 0.
That's incredible.
I saw that and I puked in my mouth. I don't know what to say. It's just so depressing.
It's a disgrace.
Big Cat, it's like when people say to me, Selvey, why do you complain so much? Or Selvey, why do you whine? I'm like, well, look at that. You think I like year after year doing shows on teams that are horrible?
Right. It's just I just want something to be, and this was supposed to be the year where things were going to start turning a little. And it's the conjunction of the Bulls stink. We know they stink. We expected them to stink, which I'm actually okay with them stinking. They're the one team right now where I'm like, yeah, go stink. Reset everything. But we thought the Bears would be better than they are. We thought maybe the Blackhawks would not be the worst team. We thought maybe the Cubs would spend a little bit of money. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm losing my mind.
I love this beside a Big Cat.
I've never seen this.
Yeah.
I mean, usually
it's bad,
you find...
I'm bad. Listen, I will bounce back. Right. I always bounce back.
All right, let's get specific. We can be angry with people up front, but to me, the players win games and the players lose games. On this team, who has disappointed you the most? Give me the gold medalist, the silver medalist,
I like this.
and the bronze medalist, Olympic style. Who has disappointed you the most on this team? A lot of guys crying, a lot of guys back in, mutiny on the bounty's what it's all about. A lot of guys have been crying in the background. They got all their coaches fired. Now where's the performance? It wasn't there. Give me your gold, silver, and bronze medalist. Players that you're disappointed in most.
The entire center position, because we've gone back and forth a couple times. I don't know. Montez Sweat, but he's been doubled a bunch.
And he's been injured. He's been injured.
So, I'm not going to go after him.
I got two guys. Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
Jalen Johnson. You got paid. You belly ached in the locker room after Eberflus. Now it's time to come up with the best game of the year. And what did you do at the goal line? What did you do at the goal line? Stevenson a week before went and popped somebody on the goal line and forced the fumble, right? Everybody can't stand Stevenson because of the Washington Redskins game. What did Jalen Johnson do? He went Olegos, the native of Mexico. Just allowed the guy to go into the end zone uncontested. I'm telling you, that's
That's a
a
good one.
problem. That's a problem
Yeah.
right there.
That-
You've got
that is.
you've got a leadership council that doesn't have an offensive or a defensive lineman on it, which is problematic. Our guy Cole Kmet on the second play of the game just absolutely just brain farted.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell happened on that. He had 2 penalties the week before where all he's got to do is somewhat get in the way and then get the hell out of the way. He did it once. He didn't do it twice. Got called for the penalty 2 times. What's going on, Cole?
I know no, you're right. And it feels like I don't know what the path forward is, because I don't know what guys on this team right now are leaders and winning football players, because it feels like there's not a lot of that, and it's like, I know that we've talked about DJ Moore a bunch. He's obviously played a little bit better, and I still think he's insanely talented. I think his vibes have been bad, and there's just been a stinky cloud around him all year, and it's just it's bad. It's bad. Everything's bad, and it's really, really disappointing. And it's also disappointing to see all the rest of the NFC North just thrive. I mean, Sam Darnold is throwing 5 touchdown passes and having a career game, and it's just like, how is this possible? How does this keep happening?
I've got 4 guys on the medal stand, and I'm trying to determine how I dole out the medals, because there's only 3.
You can have a tie for third with 2 bronze medals.
Well, Montez Sweat is my gold medalist. I don't care if he was hurt or what. He is supposed to be your franchise defensive player.
It's your opinion. You can have it the way you like.
He's my gold medalist.
Yes.
My silver medalist is Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
He's getting paid at a high level.
$12.5 million a year.
Whether it's penalties or missed blocks or not getting open enough, Cole Kmet is expected to do more. And then tying for the bronze medal is DJ Moore and Jalen Johnson. 2 guys who I sing their praises over and over for their hard work. They have complained endlessly, and they have not produced enough.
I like your list only because it blames the guys that are making the most money.
Yes, and that's
why I expect the most
They're
from.
the leaders. And you know what?
Leadership counts.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Like, I know obviously there'll be people listening to this being like, how have you not said Caleb Williams? And I know he didn't play well. He didn't play well on Sunday. Now, let's just be honest. He didn't play well on Sunday. It felt like we were back, before this Thomas Brown OC thing where it's like holding on the ball for a little too long. But here's the thing about Caleb Williams. I feel like he wears it. He is as disappointed and like angry about this as anyone else, whereas some of those other guys, I don't feel that, Like I think Caleb cares to such a level, and he's like, this is just a terrible hand I've been dealt, but I'm going to keep fighting. That, like, I like that, and he's going to break a lot of rookie records for us, and I still feel optimistic about him. But man, can we do anything to help him? Like, can we do anything to help him?
Well, it'd be nice.
I thought we had done everything to help him in the offseason, and none of it worked out.
Protecting him would be a great option if that's one thing they wanted to do. Here's the other guy that flies under the radar that nobody ever thinks about. He's top 5 in salary. He doesn't do anything flashy, and he doesn't do anything that blows him out of the water. Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah.
What has Tremaine Edmonds done at all? He's been here 3 years now. He's never considered a top linebacker in the league. He's not a top linebacker in the NFC North. And yet he's one of the highest paid guys in the world. And we don't think about him as a player that's disappointing because I don't think for one reason or another we expect anything from him.
And I mean, I don't know what the strategy was, but I don't know if you guys watching this, but I've watched enough 49ers football and to know that I think it was maybe the first or second play of the game. I was like, oh, Kittle's going to have 150 today. We just didn't guard him. Yeah. We just didn't play against George Kittle, one of the best tight ends in the league.
Right. He just floated behind the linebackers, found a void in his own, and there he was, just sitting wide open.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So and again, it all goes back to ownership, and it's just like what's the stat? Is this like the 11th out of 12th year that we're going to finish under 500 or something crazy?
It's like 11 out of 13. 11 out of 13 where they have not had a winning record.
A winning record.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just it's pathetic. It's pathetic. And it's just like the fans deserve better because the fans somehow care about this team more than the owners of this team. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why
crazy to me.
We played the Steve Young stuff from Pardon My Take earlier. I texted you about it. It's must listen if you missed it. on Pardon My Take. You should always listen to Pardon My Take. That happened at about the 1 hour and 47-minute mark. I don't know if you like that when people give out timestamps or not.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love the timestamps. But, yeah, he said it plainly. He was like, there are a certain amount of owners in this league that are – it's basically like malpractice, what's happening. And you have to figure out a way to get owners into the owner's suite that care and want to put winners on the field. And, I mean, he didn't single out the Bears, but obviously the whole time he's saying it, I'm thinking in my head he's talking about the Bears because it's the truth. There are certain franchises that every year their goal is to win the Super Bowl. And then there's a lot of franchises, and the Bears are one of them, their goal is to make money, and then maybe by crazy luck of fumble luck and everything else going our way, we win 10 games and get to go to the playoffs.
I've got 3 express topics for you. Since you were so passionate about the Bears, we spent more time on the Bears than we normally do. The Brett Favre and Mark Gastineau confrontation at the card show in Rosemont a couple of years ago. We've got the audio. We'll play it in a little bit. It's going to be in a 30 for 30 documentary on the New York sack exchange when Brett Favre allowed Michael Strahan to break Gastineau's single-season sack record, and Gastineau was very upset at Brett Favre. What did you think about that?
Loved it. Brett Favre's a scumbag. He deserved it.
You have a counter?
No, the time to complain about that, though, was 2002. Here we are 22
true.
years later, and all of a sudden now you're bringing it up, or 20 years later, now you're bringing it up because you're upset you're not in the Hall of Fame, and you believe that's what kept you out of the Hall of Fame. What keeps Mark Gastineau out of the Hall of Fame is that he's probably one of the worst teammates in the history of football.
This is breaking news brought to you by the Advantage Dealer Group.
What do we got?
Breaking news on ESPN
Interrupting
Chicago,
Big Cat.
Chicago's home for sports.
And it's something I think we should ask Big Cat about as well. But this from Adam Schefter. Bill Belichick is finalizing a deal to become the head coach at North Carolina.
That was next on my list,
That's
too.
big news.
So I thought it was basically final, but it's Schefter now saying that it is final, that he is going to be the head coach of North Carolina. So what Belichick at UNC, and what do you think about that? And what do you think about the NFL world, if they did, turning their back on him?
That could be possible, turning the NFL world turning their back on him. I actually think this is going to work. I listened to what he was saying, that, like, it's very reminiscent of John Calipari. And obviously Calipari hasn't won a title in, whatever it is, 15 years. But I think it's going to work in the fact that if you sit down and in a 18-year-old's living room, or, a transfer kid, and you say, hey, look, the goal here is to get to the NFL. And I know the NFL better than anyone else. I got 6 rings. I'll put them on the table. I'm going to get you ready for the NFL. I think kids are going to be drawn to that. So I actually think it's going to work. Like, I think it's a smart move by him. It's weird that he did it, though, because I always thought that he was trying to get that record for most wins. But maybe, because it doesn't feel like this is going to be – like, Bill Belichick coaching the NFL, I think, is over, right? Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yeah, it sounds like it now, yeah.
Yes, that is over.
So, it will be I think he'll have success. He's also setting up his son, which I kind of like. That's, a little nepotism, but, hey, if you can do it, why not? Flex. And because I know you guys probably talked about it, but he had in his contract that his son is the coach in waiting. But I actually think he's going to have success, because if you tell people, hey, look, I'm not going to tell you, oh, you're going to get an education, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, come to UNC. No, I'm going to get you ready for the NFL. Guys are going to want to go play there.
For sure. You guys have been sitting on this nickname, too, for a while. It's perfect. The Barstool Sports Twitter handle just tweeted out, Chapel Bill. That's perfect.
Okay. I like that.
I like that, yeah.
Also, I've always said, UNC is the one school, like, if I could redo everything, I might go to UNC just so I could wear the Carolina blue. Like, it's the coolest color in the world.
It's a good-looking color, yeah.
It's so great.
It's a great color.
Yeah.
It's a great color.
Right.
Boy, no, you wouldn't do that, you dookie. Don't even say that.
Oh, when we went to go...
You just slipped that by me.
First of all, when we went to go to Duke, I hid this from Shire. I got a tour of the Dean Dome and the UNC facility before we went to Duke on the same day. Is that?
I hope he hears this. I hope he hears this.
I
hope
never
you get
told them.
revoked.
I told the kids at the time. I go, do not. When we see Coach John, do not tell him that we were at North Carolina before this.
Teaching the kids the lie. Yep.
And then final topic. Kyle Tucker, if the Cubs get a deal done for Kyle Tucker and it's around the Seiya Suzuki and Paredes and maybe something else, are you happy with that?
Sure, if they do anything, I'm happy. Literally anything. Show me you're alive.
That's lowering the bar. You lowered the bar. Just show me you're alive. That's all.
Yeah. Just give me a today's newspaper with Jed holding it up, being like, "Here, I'm still alive."
That's awesome.
That's all I want. Like they could just like DFA someone in the middle of December. I'd be like, all right, at least their computers are still working.
They drafted a Rule 5 guy today, so they are alive.
Oh, okay, all right. Their computers are working. Thank God.
I just found out Carter Hawkins is the GM. I didn't even know that.
Yerk, so did I.
Yeah, I'm stunned.
Yerk, I met him. Great guy. I met him at the Paws Furball, and we talked for a while, and, like, great guy. And when he was like, yeah, I'm the GM, I was like, oh, I thought Jed was just doing everything, but that's the best job in Chicago.
It really is.
The GM for the Cubs is the best job in Chicago because everyone's like, oh, no, it's Jed. But, yeah, no, awesome dude. I felt more confident talking to him.
What about, like, Mark Eversley? That's a pretty good job, too.
Yeah, that's true. Like, there's just you gotta find one of these jobs that people don't really, they're not fully aware, and then they're like, oh, wait, okay, there's someone else doing stuff there.
Yeah, it's crazy. Good stuff, Big Cat. Feel better, okay?
All right, thank you, guys. See you later.
That's the angriest. I've heard him down. I've heard him, like, make fun. I've heard him sad. I've never heard him angry like that, ever. Ever, like in all the years we've been talking to Barstool Big Cat.
7 losses in a row will do that to you.
Yeah, he's angry.
7 losses will do